And I guess that is it, because there can't be anything more if it's just Slim. So I'm at a loss for what to say on that one, too. Very, very ominous.
I feel like it's an oblique Al Davis reference.
Well, I mean, it might be a reference to something, but be that as it may, we are off. This seed is the worst, oh my.
Well,
on the list of things you don't want to see the uncle say, that might take the cake. Or the 3 bombs, I guess. I'm not really sure.
well, let's see. Now, it'll really be the worst if the uncle gives you 10 more bombs and just wastes that whole pickup in the house.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too fun. Quick map check. Looks like we have crystal number 5, one of the Pyramid Fairy crystals at Eastern Palace, and then I believe blue was at Desert, red was at Hera.
You definitely saw it better than I did.
Well, I mean, I was just kind of going by colors.
I blinked and missed it.
Well, that's the sign of a good map check, then. So we got Can of Samaria from our uncle this afternoon. Not a bad weapon to go through the escape sequence with. The blocks are actually really, really fun and crafty to use in a lot of ways. Because you don't need to just push it, wow, I can't speak. You don't need to just push the Y button, let it sit there, and then blow it up. You can push it around. It actually takes a couple of hits before it dispels on its own. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with it. Nice to know, too, that we found the glove in the uncle chest as well.
Just a nice early start. Even if they, for some reason, ran out of bombs, they could get back to the back of escape really quickly with that glove now.
Mm-hmm. And you know, technically, with that glove, it is actually put into logic, too.
I thought it was always in logic in standard, because you get the free light cone in the escape all the time.
I just mean in terms of the game not expecting you to get bomb drops. So having the glove there, it technically makes it not a sequence break because of those bombs.
And a sword.
Yeah, I mean, we're finding a few things here right away that are always great to see in the escape sequence. It's been nothing but progress at this point, things that we know we need.
Yeah, just, hey, here's some bombs, here's a cane that is always nice to have. Mm-hmm. We know one of those dungeons is going to be required. Yeah, because having the 2 pendants in the light world means that we're going to have only 1 in the dark world. And I mean, who knows which one it could be. It's probably not going to be a very friendly one, for all we know, but that's the way that Randomizer goes, as we see a 5 arrow upgrade from the blue guard chest. I mean, with the 2 pendants in the light world, it's obviously going to be green pendant Thieves Town, right? That's how these seeds go.
You know, it does seem pretty common. I don't know why. I'm not going to say anything about any sort of bias or anything, because reasons, but yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing, because if the green pendant is like in an early spot like Thieves Town, well, I say early, I guess early is a relative term in this case, that could cause an interesting predicament, because Thieves Town really has a very, very low item requirement to even clear the dungeon. I mean, you might not have the hammer going through it, that could be consequential, it may not be. But the allure of a green pendant, when there's something early and easy to take care of, definitely draw our runners there. But that's neither here nor there at the moment. That is quite a ways away, I presume.
Yeah, we're still at least a couple of items away from Dark World, so...
But it's fun to speculate. I mean, the reality is that we've seen Dark World access in Kakariko before, so it could only be another 5 or 6 minutes away.
At one point in this tournament, I've seen Dark World access out of the escape.
Wow. That might be a little too early, I would think. Oh, interesting. We have both of our runners going to the right this time.
I haven't seen this room in a while.
No, it's not commonly seen, is it? I almost forget what's there. But
the exact same time-wise, but...
Yeah, it's basically a symmetrical pattern either way. I mean, there's a couple of differences on like the quote-unquote upper level of the right side, but otherwise it's pretty mirrored. So here we go, our runner's heading into the back portion of the escape, into the sewers.
Literally frames apart here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect the escape sequence to be too far apart, especially at this point in the tournament when the runners are going to have the same record. But yeah, I mean, it's close. No one got held up on ball and chain or any of the other guards. No one's really been an issue. I mean, that map is kind of a little bit annoying, but at least we know how to get through the rest of Escape now.
And you know all the rest of the chests are required.
It's true.
No getting to skip anything else.
It just goes back to being a good thing that we got those bombs early on. So we can at least take that out and not have to worry about coming back here.
And not having to worry about farming just kills and wasting time trying to find bombs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially having the sword, though, if we did need to farm for bombs, it wouldn't be that much of an ordeal, but still not the most fun thing to have to do. I guess that would be the lesser of two evils, though, not needing to worry about your magic consumption. Either way, 10 arrows, blue rupee, and 3 more bombs in this back room. Slim's just going to take the upper path, blow up that top wall, which is a little bit quicker, actually, if you have the bombs to use.
I'm always loath to spend a bomb right there to do that, though.
For me, it depends. I mean, with 4 or 5, I don't know that I would have done it, but if you get, like, a bomb upgrade and you already have 8 or 9 bombs, then go for it. So here we are, out of Escape now. 50 rupees in the chest. And off we go.
Well, there's money for more bombs if they need it. Both players will be able to buy them if they don't just spend all the money on the bottle vendor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, between the back of Blind's house, or the basement of Blind's house, rather, and the well, there's another 50 rupees that they can pick up. So if they need to purchase bombs in Kakariko, and the bottle vendor, I should say, and that's 150 rupees they would need to purchase. So we'll see if that is something that they want to do. But we see a little bit of a different routing path. Oh my, we are not going to need to buy bombs. That was an amazing tree pull.
That's the tier 2 pull for 4 bombs. That's pretty great.
I would say so. Certainly not going to complain about that. Well more than enough to fill up our capacity at the moment.
Looked like a red rupee on the lumberjack ledge. Not 100% sure.
Yeah, we'll see if Slim makes a path up there as well. Although he's gonna head back to... No, he's not. He's gonna go for another tree pull. See what that different one is.
Level 1 pull is the blue rupees. That's a really good tree pull for level 1.
Yeah, certainly not bad. If you can remember where all the pullable trees are and take advantage of that, then you might be able to fill your wallet a little bit quickly if necessary. So Slim is not going to head up and check the lumberjack at the moment. That's okay. Some runners actually choose not to, and the reason for that could be that they want to wait until they even have the items to do it. They might feel it's a little bit out of the way immediately to take that walk up there. And it comes down to everyone's different playing style and the preference that everyone has. There's the Titan's Mitts. So we are 1 item away from Dark World access in Kakariko.
Yes, that 1 item being, you know, the Moon Pearl, the most important Dark World access item. And with some of that money down in the Thieves' house basement, there's no need to worry about bomb buying or paying off the bottle swindler. Got plenty of cash for that. Now we just got to worry about Zora money.
I mean, do we have to worry about Zora money, or could we just kind of... Is there a way to rob the Zora? Because it seems like that would be more convenient most of the time.
Sadly, there's not a way to just change your file name to Thief in this game.
We have the flute nice and early. You know, interesting point about that with the Zora and naming yourself Thief, as we pick up combos in the bottom of the well as well. That actually wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, in Link's Awakening, if you go back into that shop after stealing something, you die. That shopkeeper zaps you with whatever and you die. If we go to Zora and steal the item, we wouldn't need to actually go back at all, so there's really no consequence of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, that's just the way my mind works sometimes. I like tying these little tidbits and whatnot from game to game. Keeps the series fun and alive for me. So SlimKirby activating his flute right now. BuzzThunder not far behind. I mean, the only difference of time at this point was that BuzzThunder went up and checked the lumberjack tree. So they're right on each other at this point still.
So with the cane, the flute, the Titan's mitts, a medallion, we're just a couple items away from just being able to clear out Misery Mire completely right off the bat here.
You know, how scary would that be? If we were to find the hookshot or the boots, I mean, entering Misery Mire could potentially be in logic very, very soon. I mean, we need that Moon Pearl as well, but... You know, that might be one thing I've never seen in this, is that a forced Misery Mire this early to go and like find some sort of other progression. And there's the Quake Medallion, so I mean, if we really want to play off of this a little bit more, it's starting to strengthen it.
Did you see Slim walk by the tavern and then go back?
I did notice that, you know, it's fresh in his mind that that tavern is a place that he's known for skipping, unfortunately.
But he was unamused to see the Quake Medallion there.
Oh, I mean, he already had both gloves, so I don't know what he was expecting. He could have just skipped that tavern entirely.
₹50 at the race game.
Oh my. For a moment, I thought he was going to actually enter the Dark World, which... I mean, that was just crazy wishful thinking on my part. That wouldn't have made a lot of sense. But not a bad check. Flute over to 6. When you have the flute early, it's not so bad. Just it's nice and quick. It's kind of in the way. And then head on over and check Agina's cave.
I've been a big fan of this early Agina's cave check, even without the flute. Hasn't paid out for me yet, but you know, I like the play.
Not a bad play in this case either. We're getting the blue mail straight away from it. BuzzThunder is going to go ahead and pick up those 50 rupees from the maze game. Have a little bit of an insurance policy. Not bad to have that money when we still have the Zora purchase to make, as well as actually almost every other purchase in the game as well.
Yeah, you need lots of rupees to do everything. Now both players in the dam at the same time.
And another 50 rupees.
Want to make sure both players have access to all of the money. And the bombs. They need more bombs too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, early game, collecting any bombs that you see is really not a bad thing. Because you can go through them pretty quickly. I mean, you've got to blow up the mini Muldorm Cave. At this point, they've got weapons to defeat the mini Muldorms. Then eventually you get over to Ice Rod Cave, and that's another bomb. And if you happen to get hit by a crab and the bomb goes somewhere else, then that's another bomb. They can disappear from your inventory pretty quickly at this point in the game.
Yes, especially without any upgrades really for the inventory increase.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Slim's just going to go with some Mario strats, while BuzzThunder actually choosing to go with Bombos. I actually like that play in that case. The mini Muldorms are notorious for just being obnoxious, and apparently that pit is very, very hungry for some Mario blocks.
He's just setting up the new Mire glitches all.
Aha!
I saw at least one full heart.
Oh, hammer! And hookshot. Wow.
That's going to be an immediate flute to 1 for BuzzThunder, probably. Oh, nope. 8 first. Go ahead and check Ice Rod Cave. That's fair.
Yeah, definitely. That's got to be right on the back of their minds, though. As we see Slim actually making that play right now. Gonna navigate that dark room first, though. Go and rescue the old man. And this dark room is actually fairly simple to learn. I think there's one pit that you can really fall into that's kind of off the path. But if you know where it is, it's actually really, really easy to avoid. And then otherwise it's just a matter of holding diagonal. So like right now, Slim's going to be holding that up right, or just right as well works. And once it straightens out, you pretty much hold it down right to get to that bottom hallway. And from there, it's very, very simple. There's a couple of bats along the way. As far as dark rooms go, that's actually one of the easier and more accessible ones for new runners to learn. If that's something you're interested in.
It was the second one I learned after Eastern Palace. The front part. Meanwhile, BuzzThunder only found one of those 5 bomb upgrades in the Ice Rod Cave. Ice Rod Cave not paying out today. But it's one of those one-off, way out-of-the-way checks that's really made simple by the flute, so good to get it done early.
Yeah, you don't want a location like that weighing on the back of your mind for too long, because you could have something really, really useful there and just not get it for a while. It's almost better to check it early and see that it's trash than to put it off and have it weigh on you.
Information is king.
This is true. So see what's on East Death Mountain. We have a lot of locations to check. In the Light World alone, we have 8. 2 in the bottom of the Paradox Cave, or is it the top? I'm not really sure, because it's a paradox. We have 5 in whatever the opposite of this one would be then. I mean, you go upstairs, so it's gotta be the whatever.
You might be able to get a couple in Hera, depending on how the distribution's set up.
Oh, this is true. We may actually see them, perhaps both runners head to Tower of Hera using that hammer before coming back to check Spiral Cave.
We could see my favorite of all of the glitches in the game.
Oh?
The Super Bunny Cave.
Aha! We could. I didn't know that was your favorite.
I love seeing Super Bunny.
Well, so far we have... what was that first time? Well, there's a sword. I know that we got a green potion as well.
We got some finger webs, too.
Yes, we got flippers. So, sufficiently good caves so far, then. The Mini Moldorm Cave, both Mini Moldorm Caves that we've seen, have been very, very accommodating to us.
Yes, indeed. That just means that we're a lamp away from the Moon Pearl to being on the pyramid.
And we are a mirror away from having the Moon Pearl be in checkerboard.
Oh, man. Now, realistically, it's going to be in the Waterfall Cave because of those flippers. That way you couldn't fake flipper to it.
Alright, so we're just seeing a map in this first basement of the Tower of Hera, not something that we're going to have to go for, obviously. Slim's going to back right out of there, head upstairs, and... big key, so we can keep going.
Alright.
You know, in a situation like this, if that had been the small key, I would actually find that preferable if this was a crystal. Because that would mean that both runners are going to be fire-locked. You know that your opponent's going to have to come back at some point with a fire source. If that were to have happened with a pendant, however, then that's, you know, that's almost a little bit worse than seeing, like, magic powder on the lumberjack tree. Just for the unknown of it. But
Yeah,
I
mean, if it's fire locked in a pendant, then you're thinking, wait, should I, like, come back here ever or not?
Yeah, exactly. Whoa!
What is that?
That is literal vanilla. As pure as that extract gets, you can make the most amazing cakes with that.
That's amazing. That's twice this week I've seen just pure vanilla Moon Pearl.
Wow, so... going back to what we said like 10 minutes ago, I mean, Misery Mire could fully be in a little bit of logic at this point, couldn't it?
Rip the Super Bunny Cave.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
that just gives us full access to Dark Death Mountain while we're on Death Mountain already.
You know what?
Just the game routes itself.
That's a fair trade-off then, I think.
The hook shot, you might be able to go inside Turtle Rock to find the fire rod in that left-hand chest, you know?
Jeez. This just gets more and more wacky. Oh, so we get a small cube from Maldorm, and that means that the second item is going to be in the basement, fire-locked, sitting away for some time, possibly forever.
And BuzzThunder also heading into Hera. We'll be getting the Moon Pearl very shortly.
Yeah, very interesting to see that both routes have been very basically identical. I can't even say similar. They've followed almost the exact same things at this point, and for very, very good reason.
BuzzThunder's checked Ice Rod Cave and SlimKirby hasn't, and that's pretty much the extent of the quote-unquote lead that SlimKirby has at this point.
Mm-hmm. Man, you know, those locations could have been game-changing as well, though. It wasn't in this case, but that little bit of a time difference. You know what? We're only 20 minutes in. They're really, for all intents and purposes, is no time difference at this point.
No, there's not. And now BuzzThunder getting the Moon Pearl.
And interesting that Slim's going to enter the Dark World from right here. He's obviously got no plans to even consider Turtle Rock at this point.
Yes, doesn't even want to see that as an option. Hoping it's Ether, probably.
Hoping it's a pendant in Ether, probably. Oh,
probably.
The hook block. Looks like BuzzThunder's getting chased around a little bit by Maldorm.
He's immune on that Maldorm. Looks like he got it.
Yeah, take him right out with the hammer. 3 hits on the tail with the hammer. Yep. Half magic and 20 rupees. I mean, we can still see the Super Bunny Cave. We can pretend that it's the bunny sprite right now if it makes you happy.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're okay, my friend.
One day we'll see it again.
So let's see Hookshot Cave. We have a heart container. We have another 20. A mushroom. I didn't know that those grew in Hookshot Caves, but okay. And a heart piece.
Alright, so that mushroom could lead several ways. Alright, it's Swamp Palace as the green pendant.
Mm-hmm. And then Palace of Darkness was the other 5/6 crystal. It is Ether. So these medallions are presently useless. You know what's actually really, really funny, now that I'm realizing it, is that Ice Palace is completely within logic at this point.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, we have the flippers to get there, we have the hammer and hookshot to clear it, logic depending. Hammer, of course, being required anyway. And we have a sword to use Bombos in the dungeon, so I mean, how daring are you feeling today, is the question.
Are we going to see a fake powder here? No, we are not.
I guess not, no. No, but I mean, to be fair, this routing is probably better than any of the crazy talk that we've been spouting on about. Thieves Town is a crystal, and we had the hammer, so yeah, that's probably the reasonable choice for SlimKirby at this point.
3 other items in the Village of Outcasts. It's just like Dark Death Mountain with 7 items, just a little more spread out.
And it's not on the mountain. But I mean, I'm just splitting hairs at that point.
BuzzThunder's in the Hookshot Cave, about to get his mushroom also.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if BuzzThunder decides to either turn it in right away or do fake powder himself.
Well, there's a red rupee in Thieves Town for the first item.
You know, that is a great thing to find in a thieves' hideout, money. It proves that to some extent they're actually good at what they do.
So logical.
I mean, it's only a 20. It's not like the 300 that we found in Blind's house. That's like true thief right there.
Yeah, just forgot to bring it over to the Dark World. Oops.
So are you saying that the 20 is the 300's bunny form?
Somebody call Plague 20.
Get right on that.
So just 1 item in the front half. So there's going to be 3 items in the back.
Yeah, that's interesting. Usually you find a minimum of 2 up in the front. Of course, there's no logical restriction on that. They can be placed anywhere as long as you get the big key in those front 4 chests.
And having the small key, that just shows that the key won't be locked behind itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Although I believe we're still going to need either the map or the compass as well, so 3 items and 1 of those.
Yeah, we saw the map in the vanilla big key chest.
Okay. So BuzzThunder also entering the Dark World. But checking the map quick too. The question is, do you go straight for Thieves Town or do you take some of the northern checks? And it appears that BuzzThunder is going to be checking out the Dark Forest and the Skull Woods area.
I'm not a huge fan of the Skull Woods play without the Fire Rod. Honestly.
That's fair.
I feel like it's lost value in the recent versions. I feel like that value has shifted over to Pod ever since they made the bow change into the logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every now and then you still see some good things in the Skull Woods dungeon, though, and at the end of the day, it's not a terribly long check.
Oh no, it's still a fast, easy check, so...
I mean, there's merits to it. There's pros, there's cons. But that can be said about basically any routing decision anyway. Like, for example, SlimKirby's choice in that room to walk against the floor, but... I mean, he was feeling pretty bold, I guess.
Well, we know at least 1 small key in Skullwoods out of the 3 chests. And not the big key.
There's Cane of Burna.
Oh, no, it was the big key. I stand corrected.
Ten arrows in the Maiden Cell. It's really nothing of interest here yet, either.
No, so far just the boss. That crystal would be sure good to see. Yeah,
if nothing else, getting the crystal at the end of a dungeon is always a positive. May not be an item that you're looking for, but it is still direct progress toward beating the game. And Slim just going to town on this first blind phase. Good use of the sword beams. Unfortunately, took one quick hit. Not gonna be able to use sword beams anymore, but still making quick work of this.
Nice and easy with the blind fight. Sword beams making it a little easy.
So we have BuzzThunder about to find his whole bunch of nothing in this dungeon as well.
Still, crystal being progression, always happy to get, but not happy
doubt.
to just see nothing inside.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's still a few other locations that can be checked. I mean, if we wanted to take the blacksmith and, do the save and quit strats with him, we could. We've got hammer pegs, we have basically all of South Dark World down to Hype Cave. And then with hammer, we can also head up to Pyramid and Catfish. So still no shortage of plays, obviously. There's a lot that can still be done. And
the world is almost completely open at this point.
It really is, just about. The mirror would be like the one big thing restricting any sort of travel. But we have access to, almost everything at this point. I guess I'm still kind of hoping that Ice Palace might actually be the play.
Ice Palace or Mire could both be the play at this point. At least as far as items go. As long as it's not on Vitreous, nothing is lamp locked in Mire.
Well, I was all set to say that nothing will be lamp locked now, but that was just an arrow upgrade, so that's not going to light the way.
No, maybe if you could set one of those arrows on fire, but now you got to get to a different game for that one.
Anyway, we will go and play the digging game now. We have a ton of money, so any of those early shortages that we had were quickly alleviated, and we can basically buy the entire game at this point. How many digs? 6, 7?
A bunch.
Too many. I actually think I lost count. That was right around 20, though. For red mail, so not bad. Not what you're looking for at this point, because it's not any sort of direct progression. And already having 8 hearts in the blue mail, it's not the most helpful, but certainly not going to be turned away.
Looks like we are going to be taking a blacksmith on a tour.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, why not? Once Slim finishes whatever routing he's got in mind, he'll be able to save and quit, start from wherever, flute to 3, and then go take him home. And maybe at that point we'll see a fake.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause that's... I mean, that might have been his plan all along, who knows? Because if you can visit areas as few as possible, as few times as possible, and then maximize each of your visits, then that's efficient.
And he's already done the hammer pegs, so he doesn't have to worry about going back and doing that again if and when purple chest is a thing.
Right, right. But for now, let's see what's in the original Hype Cave. I'm
the way all the other
very
caves
excited.
have been.
Well,
Here you go.
that is something.
The world is open. Now BuzzThunder into the blind fight. Phase 1's down. Phase 2's down. Took a little bit of damage.
But got on through it. Nicely done. Good fight by BuzzThunder.
Alright, so is the blacksmith gonna meet Zora?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't the blacksmith be able to meet Zora? Has the blacksmith ever met Zora?
Is it gonna happen? Is SlimKirby gonna introduce them? Or... With that mirror, can go get catfish and then check the entire Zora area all in one go.
I'm at a loss for words. I'm really curious to see this. Answer a question in chat. I believe the blacksmith would be able to swim. I know that other followers actually can follow you into the water and be just fine, including, I mean, through the use of a minor glitch, the big bomb. Which is just funny.
It is kind of funny. BuzzThunder about to get the red mail also after all of the digs.
So, have you ever seen the blacksmith go to Zora?
No, I haven't.
No? So, I mean, this is really, really far-fetched. I don't even know that this would be the case, but... You know how when you save and quit with the frog and you start back at Sanctuary, Zelda's not there? I wonder if there's any other instance in the game where the NPC just doesn't show up if you have the blacksmith with you.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so we've still got him with us so far. You know, I think this actually should work. Because, I mean, you can go visit that kid with him, you can activate the flute with him.
I've just not seen it, so it's one of those wacky things that's pretty awesome.
And I don't believe there was anything on the ledge that was worth picking up.
No,
actually, that's what it was, but I don't remember it being important.
And another bomb bag upgrade.
So there you have it, folks. Blacksmith can meet Zora. And just like any other item that you pick up, as soon as you pick it up, the blacksmith gets very, very excited.
And there's the mirror for BuzzThunder and Hype Cave.
Slim, where are you going? Where are you taking the poor guy now? He just wants to go home and forge you some sort of item for 10 rupees. I mean, I guess Spike Cave would make sense at this point.
It is in logic. Really, really wanting to take this guy on a dangerous tour of the world.
Man, and he just got used to having feeling in his fingers again, and now he's a frog.
Now BuzzThunder is going straight into Green Pendant Swamp Palace.
You know what? I cannot knock that play at this point. Other crystal dungeons that are beatable at this point, such as Ice Palace, are not really something ideal. Most runners wouldn't want to do that. So we've got 6, 7 items in the Swamp Palace with the Green Pendant. So why not?
That's always the question to ask yourself. Why not? With so many things left to find, there's a greater than 0 chance that something great is here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just for curiosity's sake, too, then. I mean, let's... Oh yeah, he's draining all of his magic, so I guess we are going to see a fake powder. Does not have enough magic at the moment, though, to reactivate Cane of Burnus. He's got to use Cane of Samaria to finish that off.
That actually makes perfect sense as to why he did Spike Cave first.
That actually does. Yeah, why not drain that magic? So, for those of you... I mean, Fake Powder's been around since, like, the fall tournament now, so it's probably been about 8 months, I had to guess. But for those of you that are seeing it for the first time, what you do, you have to have either the mushroom or the powder. You can Fake Powder with the actual powder. And it has to be the Cane of Samaria. It does not work with Burna or any other magic-using item. So when your magic meter is drained, what you do is tap the Y button on the Cane of Samaria, and then immediately after, push the start button, like as you hear the buzzing sound. Switch to the mushroom or the powder, and as soon as you unpause it, you'll sprinkle the dust.
And a 5 rupee return on investment for taking the blacksmith to see everything that Hyrule had to offer.
It was worth it, though. So yes, definitely a sequence break to do the fake powder, but at this point we can route it right in with turning the mushroom in and recovering that full magic with the green potion that we have.
So far there have been 2 checks in Swamp Palace, but I haven't seen what either of them were. But the silver arrows for SlimKirby for that mushroom, it's pretty great.
It's suddenly worth it now for everything that the blacksmith went through.
Silver arrows really trivialize most of the bosses and enemies and pretty much everything in the game that they can damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely the strongest weapon in the game. Very, very useful for boss fights. Of course, at this point, we still need to find the bow. Let's see, it's Bombos. We can go into Misery Mire right now. We can't logically clear it without the lantern, but we can go in.
And as Chad was saying earlier, the left side's all fire locked, so depending on how the items shake out, there could be things locked behind fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely could be. There's only 2 non-dungeon items in the dungeon, but I would say the chance of finding both of those and the big key without needing to go to the fireside are probably not great, but definitely, I mean, maybe worth a consideration.
We might see a quick dip in a desert first.
I could see that. Of course, we still don't have a fire source even to clear out desert, so that could be and no boots, depending on what's on the torch, so these could be very, very quick checks for SlimKirby. BuzzThunder, on the other hand, able to clear out an entire dungeon's worth of items. So we'll see how things shake up.
And we are getting the desert play.
So let's see, first stop is to take a look at what's on the torch, and it's a heart piece, so pending a fire source, this is actually completable. There's the big key, so back to the left to get the small key.
You think that small key is lonely in that big chest?
I do, actually.
Just all by itself and so much room.
I mean, on the one hand, I don't know that small key's demeanor. It could be very, very good at sleeping and enjoy the room to sprawl out.
Well, we have a fire rod on BuzzThunder's side that I missed. But Tracker has it, so...
Well, that's always a good thing to find.
And is that the lamp, too?
It may have been.
I think I saw the lamp on his pause screen.
Well, Swamp Palace, definitely the right choice in this case, then.
So, if you're BuzzThunder, do you immediately go to desert and just gamble on a blind pedestal pull?
I mean, it's really not a bad idea at this point. We have 3 items that could be there that would directly affect the sequence of the game between the Ice Rod, Ether Medallion, and the bow.
Yes, all 3 of those could still be there, along with things to get you there.
Mm-hmm. Curious to see now what SlimKirby is going to be up to. Possibly checking the Hylia Island, actually, and going over to a friend under the bridge. Hylia Island is just a heart piece, not anything that we're going to need.
Oh, and 10 arrow upgrade from Argus.
Always nice. We got that green pendant, so who knows what our friend Sahasrahla is going to have as well. But yeah, really, really great finds to find both, not just one, but both fire sources in the Swamp Palace. There were a couple of other options and whatnot. Swamp Palace was the most dense of them. So really, really good insight of Buzz to make that play.
SlimKirby taking the hobo's down payment for a house out there in Kakariko.
Maybe it's a down payment for a bigger bridge. There's the Ether Medallion inside of the Circle of Bushes cave. So that eliminates one thing from the ped that gives us Turtle Rock access. Not completable still, not without the Ice Rod, but that is interesting. And here we go, SlimKirby making my anticipated play just because I wanted to see it. I'm being selfish. We'll take a look at what's in the Ice Palace. 3 non-dungeon items that we can find. And just to explain for those not familiar with like my own terminology, non-dungeon items, of course, referring to things that are not maps, keys, or compasses.
Man, the hook shot's also a really great item.
Oh, but it's just so great.
It kills so many things outright.
And if it doesn't kill them, it stuns most of the others. There's, I mean, maybe a small handful of enemies in the game that the hookshot does nothing to. But at the very least, it prevents almost all others from harming you.
And it lets you like move through the overworld better, or and through dungeons. Like
yeah, I mean, as we just saw. You know, interesting thought. We may actually see BuzzThunder completely clear Misery Mire at this point, having the fire source.
It looks like what we're gonna see.
Lantern specifically for the dark rooms. Excuse me.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Mire into Desert to Skullwoods to Pedestal.
No, that's a good thought. How many of the items did we see out of Skullwoods?
He didn't go check the vanilla big key chests, which leads me to believe that we at least saw 1, maybe 2.
Okay. So yeah, interesting to see what sort of progress we may find next. We know that Slim's not going to find a couple of key items in Ice Palace, being the Fire Rod and the Lantern. He's going to need to get to Swamp at some point for those. But BuzzThunder... I mean, Misery Mire is an interesting dungeon. There's 8 total locations in it. Only 2 of them are items that could possibly help you.
3 of them are small keys.
SlimKirby picking up the big key from that chest. Just gonna go ahead and drop on down. Take a look at what's inside. Just 50 rupees, so not what we're looking for.
He didn't bomb jump, so this is probably the faster play than trying to do the second bomb jump in that room to get to Ice Tea faster.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple of interesting ways that you can route out the Ice Palace dungeon, and it's really all depending on whether your intent is to full clear the dungeon or if you're just gonna go straight to Cold Stare. And we find the Book of Medora in the Iced Tea room.
Well, that opens up other things.
That does. We have both tablets available, and then he could at least read the pedestal if he wants to. Might actually be good to have that knowledge at this point, knowing that the other pendant dungeons are completable. Here we have BuzzThunder making nice use of another application of this block glitch, where you can not only, I mean, not in dungeons, don't ever mirror when you're pushing a block in a dungeon. That's not going to benefit you, I promise. But in addition to being able to erase blocks, to hookshot through them, you can shoot the fire rod through them too, and light those torches in Misery Mire a little bit easier.
I don't know, I think you guys should all try it. On the left-hand side of Swamp. Mirror those blocks. See what happens. Don't do that.
I actually did that once. I couldn't tell you why. I'm not even going to try to tell you why, but it did happen.
So I see BuzzThunder has the powder. Was that in Mire?
Well, I actually did not catch where that was. I'm going to assume yes.
So that's one of the items.
And I haven't exactly been counting Ice Palace item counts either. For some reason, that dungeon is difficult for me to keep up on, so I'm not sure if Cold Stare's going to have an item for Slim here or not. But assuming that the powder was in Misery Mire, then we just found item number 2 in the big chest, the red rupee.
Chat saying powder was in Swamp.
Powder was in Swamp. Okay, thank you, chat. Slim's going to have to use the Bombless Medallion. I think Cold Stare's actually going to have a small key. If I saw his inventory correct, I believe that he has the map and the compass right now.
Which would mean that the dungeon is Samaria locked, which doesn't matter because we got the Samaria right at the beginning.
This is true. Yeah, because I don't think he accessed that right side room next to the switch. Having a little bit of trouble with these puffs, though. Even with red nail, I believe they're still doing a full 2 hearts of damage to you. And then the falling ice is just never fun to deal with. But we have 1 puff down. We have 2 puffs down. We have 3 puffs down. Pretty good Cold Stare fight there by SlimKirby. And it is indeed a small key as the prize. But the crystal's the ultimate prize here.
That's what you really want. So now, if you're SlimKirby, you got that book.
Do you check it right away? I mean, what would you do in his position?
I go to Mire, but that's because I'm a degenerate that gambles on Mire not requiring fire.
Well, it looks like we're going to see exactly what was theorized. It's not a bad thing. Slim knows that Desert Palace is completable. Slim knows that Swamp Palace is completable. And that those two pendants make the pedestal pretty accessible at this point. We still haven't seen anybody go over to Sahasrara or Eastern, or the Palace of Darkness, so there's still plenty of options, but it's going to be good to have this knowledge right away. And you see blue goo in a bottle and then a bunch of Hylian on page 2.
Alright, now that's probably not going to lead him towards Swamp Palace at all.
It may not. But let's see, is he thinking maybe heading back to the purple chest?
Maybe going into Skullwoods, dipping the front half of that?
Oh yes, that could be too. He's got a few options in this area.
And Vitreous with just a small key. Nice Kane strats taking down the first half of that fight.
Yep. Yeah, only having Master Sword, less than 10 hearts, and a bow. Or no, not having the bow, I'm sorry. That can be a bit of a challenging fight. So nicely done by Buzz to take that out and clear that dungeon.
And straight into Desert Palace off of that.
Yeah, really, really good use of the routing of that, having those two dungeons kind of on top of each other. And I'll be curious then, as you had mentioned, Clifford, BuzzThunder at this point doesn't have the book, doesn't have pedestal knowledge, but is going to find out very, very soon that he's got the ability to clear his third pendant dungeon. So I wonder if we may see a blind pedestal pull after this.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it, because after this, I would be going straight to Skullwoods to clear it with the Fire Rod. It's a crystal. There might be an item there. I guess if he knows there aren't any more items, then that puts it lower on the priority list.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, we've got such unique routing from both of our runners that what even is a priority list? The name of the game is to just keep going and just keep on checking things, and eventually something's going to be the right thing.
That's so true.
So yeah, we see Slim walking briskly back down. Go and check on the purple chest. As mentioned before, he's already done the hammer pegs. Will not need to do it again. BuzzThunder just dipping away from Desert Palace. Looks like he'll be taking a dip into ice as well. And yeah, I think Slim's just going to route this on down to the Bombos tablet as well.
Yeah, without knowing there's not an item at Landmo, BuzzThunder just see ya.
Yeah, not a bad play. I mean, at this point, if the pedestal winds up being a thing, I mean, we know it's not, but maybe in BuzzThunder's mind, if pedestal winds up becoming a thing, he can at least quickly get back to Desert and take out Landmo. SlimKirby picks up his Ether Medallion.
We know in this case it's the correct play to leave Desert behind.
Yes.
SlimKirby going back to the Dark World so that he can check Bombos after dropping off the chest.
Yep. Yeah, really, really good efficient routing to clear all of these things in such close proximity. And then, of course, the question is he going to go into Swamp after this? He knows the pedestal is nothing. He knows that he doesn't have the boots, so going through Swamp could be long and obnoxious.
Well, drag the chest around and say, hey, here, let's drag you around a little further.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of obnoxious, we go from one fetch quest to another.
BuzzThunder not bringing a blacksmith to meet Zora.
Once is enough. That little guy had his excitement for the day. Slim is just going to flute away, okay. Well, I guess going 2-4 at this point would be a little quicker, but we've got the shovel to check first.
the miscolored guards. Always fun to see.
Playing dress up today. It's always cool seeing that different color on them.
That happens when you flute to 4 in the randomizer.
We're digging up only a full heart container. Alright, not the most helpful. I mean, it's really a curiosity to see where this final progression is going to be. We need the ice rod and we need the bow. There's always a chance we'll need the boots for Ganon's tower as well, but for now, those are the two main unknowns, and it seems Slim is going to take a dip into the Palace of Darkness at this point to try his luck there.
At this point, with what we've seen, I can't help but feel that the progression's on Laser Bridge. Or at least somewhere inside Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock is the play so often these days.
I mean, when a location has been logically accessible for so long, it does make you wonder about it. I mean, the hindsight there is that these other locations that Slim is checking right now have also been accessible for a long time. The difference is that you're just not getting, like, really crazy, commonly late-game items that would be steering you there.
That is definitely the truth. So now BuzzThunder heading back to Skullwoods, gonna clear it out.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, why not? Really, really good play. It's gonna be quick enough to at least find the remaining item and grab that crystal. And I mean, at the end of it, crystal count is what matters, right? Keep clearing the dungeons. Do what you can to worry about the items later on.
That's the way I look at it. Clear crystals. Keep making progress towards the end of the game.
And we do have a small key, first chest, Palace of Darkness, so we know that it's not Bola. So Slim can do a little bit more searching in the depths of the dungeon.
At this point, if he has the potion, he can clear out the whole front of the dungeon, everything but Helmasaur.
Yeah, this is true. We have another sword, though.
That's the biggest upgrade in power you can find outside of going from regular arrows to silvers.
Yep. Yeah, that's gonna make the rest of the game very, very trivial for Slim. Probably wishing he had that for the Cold Stare fight, but hey, no matter. Doesn't have a small key right this moment, though, so he's gonna have to turn back around and hop down and check this chest on the lower level.
And there's the key.
I think it's just gonna do it, too. Nice use of the sword beams throughout that hallway as well. Gonna have to use either a little bit of magic or take some damage on something, though, before he can use this potion. So there we go. So the way that this works is that the camera will sort of dislodge itself as if you use a potion right there, and you have to hug that wall and the right side of the doorway. So as we see here, the camera is a little bit manipulated. The remaining red mimic was off screen, so that room then thinks that you've cleared the room, so the door opens.
It's an interesting use of a YVA.
And let's see, logically, the only thing that could be over here is the ice rod that would be of any sort of benefit to him.
The big key.
It's not.
Nope, not today.
But we can at least go a little bit deeper into the dungeon, thanks to that other small key. And we have BuzzThunder coming over to this area as well.
We're gonna get to see BuzzThunder turning in the green pendant.
Mm-hmm. You know, that could wind up being really, really huge.
It could be.
I mean, in addition to the fact that we already know that SlimKirby needs to get to the Swamp Palace. Fire Rod, the Lantern, were there. Those are directly going to influence the rest of the run.
You always need at least one fire source to beat the game.
Yes. This is true. But let's see, it's... No, I guess we're gonna blow up the back wall first. And then we'll check. It's a blue potion. Okay, so...
Hey, green pendant, pedestal, worth the exact same today.
This is true. It's an interesting comparison. Slim picking up both of those skull pots to take out the mini Helmas on the bridge. Almost got stuck on the collapsing bridge before picking up that second pot as well. Let's see, we find a map. We are going to find, I think this would be another small key. No, that's the ice rod. Okay,
so
yeah, that's
the
a big
ice
difference.
rod there, and as our tracker has pointed out, the bow is on Mothula.
Oh! Oh my, oh my, oh my. Well,
So-
that puts us into a collective go mode.
So BuzzThunder here in not very long will be in go mode completely, getting the ice rod tier and
Mhm.
pot.
Definitely, wow. That puts SlimKirby into a very, very rough position.
Yes, he definitely needs to get out of here and go to Swamp Palace as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, not before we find out how he does in this dark room. Which so far it looks like he's navigating pretty well. We go up, it should be the chest, and yep, there's a bug net inside of it. And he'll make his way down and around. Let's see if we can figure out what's in this bottom right chest. No idea.
With the bow and silvers, BuzzThunder makes quick work of the mimics.
And that's it. There's nothing else that SlimKirby can do in that dungeon now. He's gonna dip Eastern at this point. I mean, you can't call this a bad play.
No, you're there.
Go ahead.
No, it's basically all I had. You're there.
Yeah, no,
It's-
and that's it. You're here. You know that you can still potentially find all three items without needing to go into the back, because even if we have, well, never mind. By the back, I mean like the Armos area. So we could still potentially find all three items. None of them are going to be the bow. None of them. Well, that's the only thing that Slim. Well, no, he needs a few other things, but. You ever have one of those moments where you know what you're trying to say and you fully understand it, but your words just don't work?
all the time.
That just happened.
All the time.
So, makes sense to me. All of you watching at home or wherever you're watching from, you get it. Let's just roll with it. So,
You getting it? There's go mode for BuzzThunder. At 1 hour and 8 minutes and 46 seconds or so.
yeah, Buzz will be able to finish off Pod and then just mirror out once he's done and take care of Eastern Palace. And at that point, it's going to be just a Go Mode Ice Palace and Turtle Rock.
And Go Mode Ice Palace is very quick.
I mean, I guess if there's one thing that's fair to say too, Clifford, you and I definitely would have lost this race because we would have gone through Turtle Rock already like 4 times.
Oh, yeah, I would have been in T-Rock a long time ago. I would have been in T-Rock before I went to Swamp without a fire rod at all. That would have just been the end of the race for me right there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that bottom chest was the big key. I guess Slim would have made note of that then, based on his inventory.
Yeah, several things don't show up in the dark. I think dungeon items are one of those things. Also progressives. SlimKirby just getting some bombs. Gonna save and quit out of here.
And he's gonna start from the mountain cave. Probably just to get that full heal from the old man first.
That's the fastest place to go get the heal and flute away.
Yep. So, what's next for Slim? What is next? Fluting to 3. So I actually don't know. I think he's cleared out almost everything in this region.
I don't know if he actually went into Skullwoods, or if he just did,
you know what,
North Dark World.
That's gotta be it, yeah. Because when he came back to get the purple chest, he walked over to the east and checked the graveyard ledge, and then did the purple chest. So Skullwoods is gonna be new territory for him. It's you know, just one of those unfortunate things, I guess, at this point, that Slim is gonna have to walk all the way through Skullwoods just to find the fire rod and the lamp, and then to still defeat Mothula to find the bow. You know, things are definitely looking in BuzzThunder's favor at this point.
Yeah, everything has been coming up BuzzThunder since that early Swamp play. Like, as soon as this, he's going to get to do Eastern the same way SlimKirby did, except gets to avoid the 2 dark rooms on the front half.
Mm-hmm.
And gets to finish the dungeon, you know?
Yeah, and at the time, I think that Swamp Palace was actually a really, really good play, just for the sheer density of it.
And the convenience of being at Hype Cave already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting the mirror there was almost like, hey, you know what, while you're here, why don't you go there?
Oh, there's the cape.
Yay?
It's half fun. Magic, that'll make the phase 2 of the Ganon fight non-existent.
This is true. That is probably the best application for the cape. Not the most fun, though. The most fun application of it goes to whenever you do Tile Room. You can just hold onto the wall and not use any magic. Actually, I'm going to take that back right now. The most fun application of the cape is doing that same thing, but in Mothula's room. Because then you just float around the screen.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, Mothula gets really, really mad at you too. He starts doing, like, death charges at you after a couple of minutes. Slim, unfortunately, having a little bit of trouble with that mirror placement.
Just a little bit of mirror bunk.
The 2 worlds not quite matching up perfectly to be able to set up a smooth transition. I'm hoping he is not doing what I think he is doing right now.
I think he's doing exactly what you think he's doing right now.
I mean, we'll get to see what's at least inside the first chest of Turtle Rock. Ah, man.
The small key, we might be able to see a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, the logic could still take you a little bit into it. But that's gonna depend. You gotta wonder what's going through any runner's mind at this point, not just Slim, but if you're an hour and 15 minutes into a race like this, and, I mean, you only have 2 crystals and 1 pendant completed, you're still missing some absolutely major items. The Fire Rod and the Bow are completely locking him out from progression at this point.
The Fire Rod especially.
Well, yes, because the Bow is Fire Rod locked. That's a fantastic point. BuzzThunder is just about done with the Eastern Palace.
Yeah, just a couple of more rooms to go before the Armos Knights.
Yep. Which, of course, are going to be really, really simple with the silver arrows.
Just cake.
Is that the kind of cake that we use that pure vanilla moon pearl on?
Yes. Most delicious of cake. Poor Slim getting a small key.
Well, we'll get to see what's in the Chain Chomp room. Setting up a nice double Somaria strat for that room, though. I do like that. Really, really nice and efficient. Oh no, another small key.
The goose chase continues.
So we can get to the vanilla big key chest and Mimic's cave at this point. I mean, for all we know, the big key might actually be in the big key chest, and then that could take us even further. You gotta hope not, though. You just gotta wonder when this dungeon is gonna just spit them back out.
BuzzThunder gonna make quick work of Ice Palace.
Yeah, there's no need to search anything. The only thing that could be of any sort of benefit would be another sword, I suppose, but it's not really that huge of an improvement over Tempered for what's left in the game. Ooh, okay, it's the compass. So the only thing left that Slim could check is Mimic Cave.
Yes, he can do Mimic Cave. I guess the boots could also be something BuzzThunder would be looking for.
Well, yes.
Get that off of your mind for Ganon's Tower.
Kinda hoping that that doesn't wind up being the case, but yeah, I guess we can't really ignore the possibility of it.
It's a 1 in 22. Which means it's just going to happen every time, right?
Or we could always see... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's how I feel if I'm going into Ganon's Tower without the boots. It's, yep, the keys on the torch, 100%.
It's scary when you're walking in without the boots. You know, the other thing you could see in that case is a small key on the torch and then needing to go all the way through past Ice Armos to then do Tile Room to get another small key because you're out of keys to go right side to get the big key because you can't bump the torch.
That's a thing that can happen. I've seen that recently.
Anyway, nice bomb jump by BuzzThunder. Just a couple of rooms away, and then Ice Palace is going to be no more for both of our runners. Slim fluting back down to location number 1. I presume we're going to see a check of the Ether Tablet.
Ether Tablet here?
And I mean, he's got to be wondering too, there is still another item in the basement of Hera, I believe. But still doesn't have a fire source. So you got to be hoping pretty frantically that that's not going to wind up being anything at all.
At this point, probably the only saving grace for SlimKirby is if the boots are right here.
I mean, it's always a morale boost when you find the boots. Just because things get fast. But only a heart piece, not quite the same thing. You can't put that on your shoe and go for it. And it looks like now we're going to see Misery Mire. I actually don't recall where the big key was in this dungeon, so this could wind up being fire-locked as well. And I know that one of the I know one of the non-dungeon items was in the big key chest. Or I'm sorry, the big chest.
Yeah, there was a red rupee in the big chest.
Yes.
And that tempered sword just wailing on Cold Stare, making it easy. Gets the crystal.
That's crystal number 6 for BuzzThunder. Next stop is going to be up to Turtle Rock. All that we can do at this point is kind of hope that... Well, no, at this point, I want the big key to be accessible to Slim. Because he'll at least be able to get a crystal out of the way.
Yeah, get some progression, not have to dip another dungeon for no reason.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to think, too, that Swamp Palace may be the only other location he can go after this. So it's like, on one hand, if the big key is locked behind fire here, then he's able to just leave and go straight to Swamp. On the other hand, if that is the case, then he's going to possibly think about coming back here.
Gets a small key out of the bridge.
Very low on health at the moment, too. Not having the magic powder. Not even having the mushroom anymore. He's not going to be able to powder any of the anti-fairies. I believe he might still have one more blue potion. But he's making good use of the Cane of Burna. I mean, hitting that crystal switch a couple of extra times, too, because of it.
You know, gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, it just shows how rapid that Burna hitbox is, which actually... I mean, if you ever have a Cane of Burna start in one of these seeds, that's a really, really good thing to get familiar with. That way you can activate and deactivate it as efficiently as possible to consume less magic.
I really like a Burna start.
Yeah, I'm not really sure which one is my favorite. I mean, I'm going to ignore the obvious bow and hammer. So I guess it comes down to the magic-consuming ones, because bombs are nobody's favorite. I think I might like Samaria the most, just for the creative use of the block.
Yeah, Samaria I like the blocks a lot too. I don't know, I really, really like getting the bow just because it unlocks Eastern right off the bat. And I can go clear Eastern 10 minutes into the dungeon, like, into the thing.
Yeah. I would think that, yeah, the bow's probably ultimately my favorite of the starting weapons too, but just because of how free it is, I didn't want to include it in my own list. So we have BuzzThunder going through these right side torch rooms. I fully assume we're going to find, well, obviously we're going to find a big key here. I can't even assume that. Possibly another small key, although there doesn't need to be one.
I think it's going to be an item, maybe.
Green rupee and the big key. It sounds like a radio
that counts
show.
as an item. And SlimKirby taking a death. I guess that's a warp back to the beginning of the dungeon.
Yeah, not sure if that would have been a death warp or just an accidental.
All right, BuzzThunder through the Chain Chomp's room. We'll get the benefit of being able to steal the key coming up and not having to go through and get the actual big key chest. And having the powder out and ready can easily take care of any anti-fairies or whatever else might be in his way. Getting trolled a little by that pokey, though. All the way up to the top corner. Gets it.
So BuzzThunder continuing through Turtle Rock. Has one of the small keys already. We're going to check this chest and see if we can find another before Laser Bridge. And we do. We do have the second small key. So Laser Bridge is not going to be something necessary at this point. Nice work in that not-so-dark maze now that we have the lantern. Fun fact about that dark maze, it is actually one of the easier dark rooms to learn if you can familiarize yourself with the pattern. Oh well, you will see how Trinex goes. Having the Tempered Sword versus the Butter Sword means that Trinex is going to take 5 hits on each of these heads, and then another 5 on the main one. Butter Sword, the difference is that it's only 3 hits. So really, this fight specifically shows how inconsequential the upgrade to Butter actually is. So, you know, there's definitely certain advantages to it. For example, being able to do the backdoor 0 cycle on Trinex with the Butter Sword. But for the most part, their strength is very, very similar. I mean, you take a comparison then between Tempered Sword and the Master Sword, and all of Trinox's heads take 10 swings. So I mean, it's a very, very big difference. But there we have it. Crystal number 7. So if you want to go for your big key guessing game and whatnot, you know how to play. There's one of 22 locations. Feel free to guess. I mean, left side, right side, tile room, Bob's chest. Torch is probably the big one on everybody's mind. So that's going to be the one that holds the most consequence. Personally, I'm going to guess number... whatever. Let's just go with number 4, because that sounds quick. So number 1, we have a small key. Number 2 is a heart piece. We're just going to mirror straight back to the front of the dungeon. And let's see, as we head downstairs, the big moment of anxiety, it's just a small key. I mean, that's not completely ruled out, though. It could be an annoyance, but I don't think that's going to cause any sort of actual problem. So location number 3 is not anything necessary. And we're just going to go ahead and use Ether Strats on the Stelphos room. Just clear them up right away. We find an arrow upgrade in location number 4, a heart piece in number 5. I don't know in number 6, or one of them was a small key, because now we have 3. Now what we can do is keep pressing on. Let's see what's in this double fire bar room. We get the big key. So chest number 8 is going to be there. And we're going to make our way upstairs and through the gauntlet. Soon after this Mimics 1 and 2, I should say. Wow, I know the game. So congratulations to Weighty Words, you won the name on the list. So this will be fun. Gauntlet is a very, very unique place. And I'll tell you why. Stelphos. The first 2 rooms can be pretty unpredictable with them. This first room has a very, very clear setup. If you go just a little bit left, as I presume BuzzThunder was trying to do here, well, no, he's going to use Ether. That's fine, too. Ether works. Bombos works. If you have it, use it. But that first room, that Stelphos, you can shoot an arrow straight down at him and get him pretty much every time, because he's just going to walk into the block like a dumb. Well, I was going to talk about strats, but honestly, Ether strats are Alright, so BuzzThunder is up at the top of Ganon's tower now. Made very quick work of getting through these rooms. Torches, Mimics, Gauntlet, Lamo 2, definitely not in that order. So, Maldorm 2 now. Let's see, Tempered Sword, it's going to take 3 hits or a spin and a hit. Poking it wouldn't work in this case, that would count as something lesser. So we'll hookshot across, and we are going to open this chest. We find the map at the very top of Ganon's tower, which isn't exactly helpful. I mean, at this point, we've already seen pretty much all the rooms. We know how to navigate it. And that was about the cleanest pinball room I've ever seen without the boots. That can be a nightmare at times.
Hello? I think I'm back just in time for an Aga 2 fight.
I think you are. I don't know what significance that means, but you know what? It's significant. Welcome back, Clifford.
All right. Glad to be back. How are we doing in this Aga fight? I think I've seen at least one double.
I think we're doing pretty well. In fact, I think we're done with it.
I believe that is correct. I see a bat.
Well, we're about to have BuzzThunder enter the Ganon fight. SlimKirby's still making his way through Swamp to get the Fire Rod from the left side.
SlimKirby having to go back and redrain the water on because of the way they changed the logic. In case you flood the key, you don't have to leave an entire screen anymore.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that he ever came left side anyway. I think his initial routing was to just go straight through the dungeon.
Ah, well, that's fair.
I mean, it does make sense. People route that dungeon differently for any number of situations, really.
Meanwhile, BuzzThunder into phase 2 of Ganon here.
Into phase 3, even. Which is one better than phase 2. Haha.
The numbers.
I couldn't count the digging game, but, you know, counting phase 1, 2, 3, 4, I can manage that pretty well.
You need the one hand for that one.
And here we are now entering phase 4. Almost gets a double right off the front of that. The thing with doubles on Ganon is that if you knock Ganon into the edge with the silver arrow, he will teleport instantly. So you gotta mind your placement on that. See, there's another example of that. If you can get him, like, if you can stand like below him and knock him up toward the center of the room, for instance, you'll be able to get a double pretty easily.
It looks like we're almost to the end of this fight. There it is. An exploding pig.
That's always a fun thing. So, GG's to BuzzThunder. Well played, well routed, well executed, finishing with an official SRTV time of 1 hour 39 minutes and 40 seconds. Congratulations.
That did just happen.
All of it just happened.
As the victory text says. So now SlimKirby heading back into Mire with fire.
Mire with fire. Fire Mire. I think that's actually kind of the name that the new Switch strategy kind of took on.
I think I heard somebody calling it Mire Rod.
I don't think I heard that one. I like it. And at the moment, we have BuzzThunder joining us. Congratulations on the win. Really, really interesting seed. Diving Swamp as early as you did is what basically sealed it for you, finding not one, but both fire sources in there.
I apologize for that. Is that better?
That
That's
is
much
better. Yes,
All
hello
right.
there.
Hi guys.
You-
Yeah, thanks. Um, yeah, I figured those early pendant dungeon dives are what set apart because I just felt like I got lucky when I jumped in. The correct items just appeared, um, not only in the swamp, but I guess there wasn't as many options early, but I just went right into Tower of Hera for that check and got the Moon Pearl in there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, up until the point where you went into Swamp, you guys had actually basically done the exact same routing. So right down to the Tower of Hera, the Death Mountain checks, and then when you were doing Swamp, Slim was not. So and actually Slim only just did Swamp about within the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and that was
I was right there, and I got the mirror, so I figured, hey, I mean, especially because it was green too, so it's like, well, I can just full clear that. That's 7 items, So at that point, I thought
yeah.
it was a decent play.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're still missing a lot, so it's certainly not a bad play. I mean, let's see, the other options that were open at the time were Ice Palace and a couple of things within Misery Mire as a possibility. So when you're considering the options you have, you just gotta stick with what's dense and what's local to you. And at that point, yeah, having the mirror in Hype Cave was very much, hey, go here next.
Yeah, exactly. That's what just trying to grab all the things that were close by. But yeah, I thought it's a little bit of a gamble, but it's right there. So even if I didn't get anything out of there, I don't think it would have been terrible.
Mm-hmm. And then, cruel as it is, having the bow be locked behind the fire rod.
Yeah, that was an interesting location for it. But again, that was just another thing that worked out. I was like, well, yeah, it gave me the fire rod after Swamp. I can go do that, and yeah, just trying to clear out all the crystal dungeons after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did a really, really good job doing that as well. As a curiosity, you did go through Desert. Were you ever considering that the pedestal might have had one of those remaining items, since you could have cleared Desert?
It was when I was in there, I was very much prepared to just clear it out just in case, because I knew after that, I think my next spot I was going to after that was going to be to finish out Skullwoods, and I was like, well, I could get the other pennant here and then just get the pedestal just to see what's there, because at that point I still needed the ice rod.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's always that outside chance, but yeah, Desert gave me the items so quickly. I was just like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, because if I really needed to, having the mirror and the flute, it wouldn't have taken. It's like almost no backtracking to go back and get that pendant.
It was only a blue potion, same as you got from Sahasrara for the green pendant.
Yeah.
Because SlimKirby did find the book in Ice Palace, and then went almost immediately to check the pedestal.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I got lucky. Was able to avoid that stuff.
You know what? That's rando, though. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I mean, this is, I don't think I've ever, for me personally, this is by far the fastest seed I've done by, I don't know, 10 minutes or so.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
GG for that as well.
Yeah, thanks. Well, yeah, thanks for the restream, guys. Sorry that you couldn't see any of it, but yeah, rough internet this morning.
It happens.
Yeah.
We got to see, at least half of it, so that's
Right.
good.
that's good.
We had some Discord issues on our end too. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, I see my collection rate right here is 148. I don't think I've ever seen a number that low.
It's a good number to have.
All right, thanks again, guys.
So, hey, thanks for the race, and GG, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks
GG.
again. Have
a good
guys.
one.
That was BuzzThunder, the winner of this race.
There he goes. Now SlimKirby taking on Vitreous. Into the second phase of this fight. It gets the crystal.
So while we have Slim going through some of these areas that we have seen covered, he's going to be pretty much. Hopefully, we're going to see him go to Skull Woods, so that he can get the bow and then be in go mode and just finish everything on up. So later on, though, we have a handful of races. We actually have a lot of races coming up for this evening that are all getting restreamed. So if you want to check out our schedule, you can just go to speedgaming.org/ALTTPR. And coming up next at 3 p.m. on SG2, we have Duke Firebird versus Gus. Also at 3 p.m. on ALTTP Randomizer channel, we have Heretman versus Pyth. And at 4 p.m. we have Haha Cell versus Trident Tail on SG4 right here on this channel. 5 p.m. we have GFE versus Dracaris on SG3. And then a bunch of other races starting at like 7 p.m. We've got a couple at 7:30, 8, and 10. All throughout the evening, plenty of rando action for you guys. And don't forget that Speed Gaming hosts a plethora of other tournaments and fun games as well. So don't forget to follow Speed Gaming's 1 through 6, all 6 of those channels, so you can stay up to date on it. And for this tournament as well, you can also follow ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4.
Yes, indeed. Lots of good content on all of those channels. Almost all of the time.
It really is almost all of the time. That's the amazing thing.